you guys, welcome to the Ranting Shop, and this is me, Melissa. I'm gonna be talking to you guys about some more puttering on it news. Before I really get into what I want to talk about, let's just all gather together and congratulate Miss Charlie for giving birth to her baby son recently. But I really want to talk about Kenneth and Shorty. Firstly, I'm gonna talk about Shorty, and the title of this is gonna be What Shorty Did Wrong. Now, this is in light of an interview that she did a couple of weeks or months ago, where she was basically letting us know that a lot of things that people seem to be doing rampantly around her surroundings wasn't something that she took part in. And so, based on that, it appeared as if she took this relationship somewhat of like an experiment. Like, let me see if I can live with a man. Let me see if I can, let me see if I can get a man that dotes all over me and is obsessed with me. That's what it seemed like, and she got everything that she wanted, but she didn't realize that it wasn't necessarily gonna be as great as she thought it would. Now, let me just start from the very top. She entered the relationship wanting to fulfill an unfulfilled desire to be obsessed over. The thought of a man persistently wanting to work things out and be at her beck and call enticed her. She thought the idea of living with a man was new and exciting. It appears that because her environment normalized shacking up, she surrendered to it and lowered her standard of marriage first. They crumbled at the fantasy of what was new. Little did she know that, like a naive teenager, what appears fantastical are often lacking in realism. She attracted a bum and deadbeat dad, perfect and willing prey. On her side, a lonely new environment hastened the ill-fated union, as the assumption was that he'd relieve her of some of the burden of living expenses. He did do so late, but after the threat of a breakup, would actually proceed to go back and take the money that he sent her or gave her for the rent, even though he was still living in the house with her, that was just crazy to me. And in a recent interview with Little Black Book, he actually admitted that when he took screenshots of her banking information, he did so that he'd send the money back to himself that he sent her for the rent. That is crazy to me. That is insane. Okay? Now, she realized he attempted to take his half back, which is dumb, as he continued to stay in the house. The very behaviors that were cute became frightening and trapped her in a toxic union. We all have to take accountability for what we allow. And although he may have done everything she claimed he did, she allowed it, perhaps for self-preservatory purposes. She did manipulate him to leave him, but if that was her desperate attempt for escape, it was ingenious. But the takeaway here is to never allow one's fantasy of what could be to draw you right into the arms of toxicity. Have everything you need first. Your cup will overflow from your own input and not that of another. If not, you'll end up just like a Shorty, with women picking the man's side because she belittled him, but ignoring her obvious cries for help from a show that is a show, after all, one-sided as it is, and only painting how they want the canvas painted and not as is. Now, during Kenneth's interview, I saw a lot of women defending him and saying that Shorty was not innocent. That is beside the point that I feel like a lot of women just can't get past. And I notice a lot of black women do this thing too, where they like to coddle black men. And I have a big issue with that. How are you coddling a 6'4" grown ass man. That is crazy to me. And some women feel comfortable defending and coddling his toxic behavior. I don't understand it. And what they do is they say, oh, Shorty was not innocent, as if that is supposed to take some heat off him for what he did. I feel like we should all approach this on two different types of areas. First, we look at what Shorty did wrong. And of course, she did do a lot of things wrong. I believe that she did manipulate him in some instances. I believe she also used him sexually. You know, I do believe that she did do that. And I feel like she sometimes discarded him when she felt like he wasn't doing his side of what was planned to do. And he felt discarded. But I'm not going to say, oh, Shorty's not innocent in this, in an attempt to kind of belittle his wrongdoing. What Shorty did literally is what Shorty did. Now let's look at what Kenneth did. I don't understand how some women can just coddle a grown man. Like, I'm so sick of, this is a little bit of a tangent, but I'm so sick of society coddling men. Like, even growing up, the women is allowed to stay in the house, learn how to cook, learn how to clean, learn how to do everything. The man is allowed to roam free, do whatever he pleases, right? Then when women grow up, when men grow up, it's always, oh, take care of him, wash him, feed him, bathe him, sex him, give him everything he needs. Don't bring women around him. Almost baby proofing, or I should say man proofing the surroundings. Okay, let's man proof ours. When we get married, we need to man proof the house. Take away all pictures, all paraphernalia, everything that will make the man think of another woman. Don't bring your friends in the household, blah 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 blah. And I just don't like how society treats men like they're toddlers. They're grown people that are fully capable of knowing what they do. They're fully capable of understanding the consequences of their actions, and coddling and continuing to coddle men is only going to lead them to even greater feelings of grandiosity. They already feel like they're the prize. And I completely understand why some men feel like they're their prize. It's because women fight over them like they are the prize. So if some men feel like they're the prize, I completely understand why they think that. It's like you cannot do both. You know, it's like you cannot fight for a man and then make yourself the prize. How are you the prize? No one's fighting over you. You guys are fighting over a man. So the man is the prize. You cannot fight over a man and want to be the prize. That just doesn't make sense. But the way people were coddling Kenneth kind of really irritated me. I'm not saying that the man did bad all by himself, but I'm also saying that based on what he did do, it's problematic, period. And that should be the end of the conversation. I'm so baffled at black women, and they coddle these men, and what do they get in return? A cheater, a liar, a bum, a user. So they are still incapable of seeing that them coddling men does not benefit them. Do you understand that? And yes, Kenneth was manipulated and treated badly by Miss Shorty, but look at what he did. He was unable to communicate. He was a liar. He was unable to. He also has some feelings of grandiosity. Even the way he was explaining where he worked, he mentioned he worked for Tyler Perry Studios and he worked for this studio and that studio. Ask him what he did working there. He was a security guard. The man was a security guard. But he'd make you think as if he's in the boardrooms talking to the top bosses to propose shows and whatever the case may be. That's not what it is. The man worked as a security guard. And that's the feelings of grandiosity that he has in his head, and what black women like encourage him to almost to perpetuate. It's crazy. But anyways, you guys, let me know what you think about. First we heard Shorty's interview, then we heard Kenneth's interview, part 1 and part 2. Part 1, he was completely belligerent, drunk, just saying crazy stuff. Like, I've never heard an interview so crazy in my entire life on Mr. Kojo's platform. That was the least intellectual dialogue that I've ever come across. And part 2, he was a bit more sober, and he spoke about his situation with Shorty. But when it came to him taking accountability for his side of things, he kind of wanted to like push it aside almost, at least in the beginning. But he kind of took some accountability that, your behavior needs to be checked and you need to go to therapy because you are not normal. You are a people pleaser because you stayed with Shorty even while stating that she did all these things to you. You stayed with her willingly. And a lot of people keep talking about, oh, Shorty should have left. Shorty should have left. Shorty should have left. It was her house. Where's she going to? Where is she going to? He's the one that should leave. That wasn't his home. He came and lived with Shorty. Shorty didn't go to live with him. So he was the one that should have left. And he never did. When he did, he came right back. So I'm sick and tired of this narrative like the woman should leave. No, the man should leave. If you're having all these issues, if you feel as if she was taking advantage of you and treating you like garbage, you should have left. Where were your balls? Where were your balls at 6'4", grown man? Why should she be the one to leave? It's her house. You came to her house. You leave. This is crazy. But anyways, you guys, let me know what you think about Kenneth's interview on Little Black Book. What did you feel about him in that instance? Did your perception change of him? Did it just justify what you initially felt about him? Let me know in the comment section, and see you guys next time. Bye.